Well, as we say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And the thing is, you cannot put into words what hair loss does to us as people. And I'm talking men, I'm talking women. You know, really at any age. Sometimes hair loss starts in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s. Maybe you're in your 50s like me as a woman. And, you know, when hormones and emotions, when life starts to change, sadly, we see our hair start to change. And when I said we're bringing a whole new meaning to the phrase hat hair over the course of this next hour, once more, welcome into HSN. We're gonna do a little virtual consultation with you with a house call. This is the same FDA cleared, not Christmas lights, not like little red lights that look pretty, lasers. Not only lasers, but more of them than anyone else in the industry offers. Better price than we've ever offered. In fact, this is groundbreaking technology. Again, FDA cleared, that will help you grow hair, that will help you regrow that hair. I mean, bottom line, I know I'm speaking from my own experience. Adam, who you'll see in his open house show, will be on later tonight. This is one of your final presentations. The thing for me is, and I was just appealing to the women out there, guys, and I'm not being disrespectful, sometimes men kind of anticipate potential hair loss. I think it's maybe a little more socially acceptable, but as women in particular, that is our crowning glory. And for me, listen, I've been a workout fiend for years until recently. I would do the upside down pineapple, they call it, where you pull your hair tight in a ponytail. And I was really starting to see kind of that situational alopecia. Barry, who you'll meet in a second, he's got the real name for it. But it was really leaving me crestfallen. And when I looked in the mirror and was starting to see those changes, listen, I had tried a lot of different things. I used the Minoxidil. I actually was going to do laser treatments at my doctor's offices. By the way, for pretty much a flex pay for every individual treatment, and then I'd have to drive back. Well, certainly in this time in history, I'm not able to get to my gym. I'm certainly probably not going to expose myself at my doctor's office, although we're all very cautious, to try to regrow hair, but you can't put a price on that. So what we're doing is we're bringing the doctor to you. We're bringing that FDA cleared technology to you. We're bringing the real lasers to you for the best price in HSN history. In fact, to prove a point, if you went to hsn.com right now, this laser technology that will help you regrow your hair, put on a cap, grow your hair. Put on a cap, grow your hair. Listen, if you've had hat hair, grow your hair at the same time. On hsn.com, it's $2,000. So this is already the best price in history. But then, yes, you get the great customized case and all the adapters to recharge it and everything else. Incidentally, you can pop this interior off and put it in your favorite team choice with the big bowl game coming up this Sunday. Maybe you want to do that. That's entirely up to you. But we're also including something that I've always recommended to you when I've done these presentations to buy separately. I'm from a farm family, so I understand the concept of, you know, prepping that ground, prepping that crop, making sure that your garden will grow. We have the Activator that is also included for no additional cost for the very first time in history. Now, if you go to hsn.com, that is normally about $60. Well, you know, $61 if you want to, you know, argue a few pennies there. And you could certainly buy it on its own, but it's part of our package. We had to cancel 2 today's special with the amazing Capillus company just because they couldn't meet the production demand. They're all made in the United States. They have amazing customer support. But here's the other thing, talking about customer support. We, for the first time in history here at HSN, you get us used to saying 30-day return policy. Every other time I've had Capillus on the air, I've said 6-month return policy, because you have to remember, you're stimulating that follicle, you're regrowing hair. 1 year money-back guarantee. 1 year money-back guarantee. Even when I had consultations at my doctor's office, again, I was in a situation where I was going to pay. I was going to pay, but then it's all about compliance that Barry will tell you about. You know, they don't have a 1-year money-back guarantee. So all things being equal, we would love to hear from you. Remember, Testimonial Talk Line is open. So of course, we'd love to hear your personal story. You're gonna hear a lot of testimonials during this show, a lot of the friends and family that you see on the air here at HSN, whether it's Dimitri or Martino, you know, people who are known for the great heads of hair. Adam, who you're gonna see later. Me, myself, like my crown area has definitely transformed thanks to Capillus. We'd like to hear from you. But Pat, if it's okay, I just want to show how few of these we have, just to kind of put it in perspective, and then we'll welcome Barry on the air. So we have only 800, and the only reason I wanted to show that briefly is certainly it's a considered purchase. I certainly understand that. But remember, with a 1-year return policy, a 1-year return policy, interest-free payments of $275, arguably about, you know, a little about the price that you would spend per individual treatment if you were going to a doctor's office, free shipping, put on a cap, regrow your hair, FDA-cleared technology, unique, one of a kind, and, you know, all I can tell you from my own personal experience is it works. So why don't you become our next testimonial? You'll never know unless you try, and couldn't be any easier than putting on a cap. Well, I told Barry this earlier. Barry has done thousands and thousands of consultations in doctor's offices, and he does trainings and all that great stuff. And so I said, you know what, let's pump the brakes. Let's do a little coffee talk. Let's do a little virtual consultation here. And Barry, you know, I wanted to make things a little more casual because when it comes to hair loss, and you know this better than I do, is a very emotional, intimate experience. People see and feel their very self-esteem being eradicated as their hair starts to go away, especially for women. But I'll pass the baton to you, my friend. First of all, welcome. Glad that we could finally get you here with the Today's Special. I know we've been trying to do this a lot in the last couple of months. But for people who don't know you and don't know this technology, let's just welcome our friends in and let's do that little consultation for everybody.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing, Shannon. As you know, we talked beforehand, and you said, you know what? I said, you know, when I had a consultation in my office, which this is a virtual consultation. I said we would sit down, we would talk, I would educate the men and women that I sat with, thousands, as Shannon said, about hair loss, and then talk about solutions. So we are literally sitting today having a conversation, a real time of education. If you notice, Shannon talked about going to her doctor's office for consultations, and people pay a lot for that even before they get to the treatment schedule. But we are actually going to sit here and not only talk about a real FDA medical treatment, I'm really going to educate you on every single treatment option you have, because I want you to know what's medically recognized so that you can make a decision for yourself. And if we can get Isabel ready, if I can set that up for folks, because it's like this. As Shannon said, I'm very much into the science. I get very excited to explain to you all the science that's going on your head, what the answers are, and I'm going to do that. But even before I would get that many times, people would sit down and literally start to cry. Men and women, make no mistake, because it is so devastating. People found themselves checking out of life one day at a time until they ended up at home just not wanting to go out because they were so embarrassed about their hair loss. That's the story you're about to hear. This lady 3 years ago had so much hair loss that you could see her scalp. She was devastated. She had tried everything. Then she heard about an FDA-cleared medical device, and she said, I'm going to give it one more try. This is Isabel's story.
I took a picture on the very first day. I parted my hair down the middle, took my camera, my phone, and took some photos. Continued using the product, and a coworker of mine kept wanting to see what my results were. So a few months later, she said, you know, I think things are working. I had shared with her, and she said, I think things are working. Take a picture, take another picture. And finally, I did it, and it happened to be at the 6-month mark, almost to the day. And when I compared the pictures, it makes me emotional, because I really didn't expect to see those results. And it's really fascinating when you can do research about a product and what you read is true, and that you see the results, and that it can be very life-changing, especially for women.
And it is so life-changing. So the next thing I would do with Isabel after the tears is say, Isabel, medical science has advanced to the point where you can do something about your hair loss. Let me explain it in 60 seconds. So Shannon, this is what's happening. Your hair follicles that you're born with are healthy. Eventually something called androgenic alopecia, inherited hair loss, a type of hair loss kicks in where your follicles start to shrink. That's called miniaturization. They are literally dying. Eventually they would be dead and gone. That's permanent baldness. So what can the medical community do now? We could use a very specific color spectrum of light, like you're seeing here, 650 nanometers of a class 3R laser, where you'll see in the animation, that light is going to come right down to the follicle, and what's happening is it's going to stimulate that dying follicle. You saw it getting smaller there. Now the cells are suddenly saying, I don't have to die. I have what it takes to live again. And scientifically, through a process called photobiomodulation, very similar to photosynthesis in a plant, hear how they sound alike, it starts to regrow. So as you see in the before and afters, if we can show just Daniel really quick, Shannon, before I come back to you, you're going to see Daniel. You see that before? Again, Daniel, like Isabel, would come into my office. We would sit down exactly like this. He would say to me, I just want to stop my hair from falling out. Please tell me what I can do. I was able to tell him, we can not only stop your hair from falling out, but medical technology has advanced to the point where I can tell you we can help to regrow your hair. And Shannon, that is exactly what you're seeing in the after. We stop the hair loss and we help to regrow the hair, making no mistake, using this exact same FDA cleared cap in front of you right now.
Well, you knew I was just itching to get in there and you know, and talk about something. Well, a couple of things are happening. First of all, again, happy Monday. Monday, I think, is a day historically, whether it's this time in history or not, where we have a tendency to be in the doldrums. And if you're like a lot of women, whether it's like myself, who has really seen my hairline transform back, turning back the clock thanks to Capillus, or like whether you're like Isabel. I mean, especially for women, our hair is supposed to be our crowning glory. But I just want to backtrack onto something that Isabel said. For a lot of us out there, listen, there are a lot of things that we can do when it comes to hair loss, especially for women. We don't have a lot of options, but it requires compliance. I'm speaking from my own personal experience. I've tried the Minoxidil, but for me, first of all, I wouldn't follow through. You have to be very consistent. You have to do it twice a day. I was finding that it was drying out my scalp, then creating a whole other sidebar issues where my scalp would be itchy. I won't go into all that, as much as I will say I was good for about a week and then I stopped doing it. Nothing can help you if you don't do it. You put on a cap. So I have a girlfriend who just started a diet program, and I'm not being disparaging about this, but it's a doctor-supervised program. She's taking these weight loss pills, and I said, yes, and I won't say her name. She's like, but I'm only eating 500 calories a day. And I'm thinking, you know, it's because you're only eating 500 calories a day, right? So I don't care if it's going to the gym and lifting weights, right? I mean, seriously, it's like, you might be taking a pill, but you know you're only eating 500 calories a day.
Hilarious. I love it. It's true.
But I guess, Barry, my whole point is compliance, compliance, compliance. And so if you see a celebrity body, guess what? They're going to the gym. They're doing something to make those biceps.
Yeah.
If you see somebody who's thin, guess what? They're not eating. If you see somebody with hair, they're putting on a cap. So when we talk about compliance, and trust me, because I told Barry I'm having some mobility issues, so even my physical therapist, I gotta be honest, I have not been good about my homework. I mean, I'm supposed to be doing all these stretches, and I haven't been great with it. I mean, we're not really good with our homework, are we? At any age, whether you're e-learning or not, your homework is you put on a cap. You put on a cap, and you put on a cap for 6 minutes. It's not even the extended time period that the some of the original technologies used to offer. So here's what's happening. Now, I certainly realize it's still a considered purchase, but with only 800, give or take, that we have remaining, I just want to put this in perspective. Adam will have the last and official airing coming up, I think either at 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. Unlike our normal 30-day return policy, unlike our normal 6-month return policy that we offer with Capillus, by the way, when we've offered Capillus for more money without the $60 activator, you get 1 year. So you make one payment of $275 plus tax, because the shipping is free, and then you have that 1 year window, because remember, you're really getting to the source of the problem. It's not like those infomercials of the 80s, the hair in a can, you know, or you're spraying the look of hair. You're regrowing hair. You are regrowing hair with FDA cleared technology, not pretty little Christmas lights, lasers. We've got a little chart to talk about who this is for and who it's not for. But you know, look at it this way. If you're someone like me, whether you are a woman in your 50s, whether it's medications, genetics, hair loss, stress, good Lord, who have you been under a little stress in the last year? I mean, really, you have to understand there's a reason that this is the same technology that Barry would consult about in doctor's offices and train doctors and therapists on. We're bringing the house call to you. We're bringing that FDA cleared technology to you. We're bringing the lasers to you. Even the red light spectrum, even the light is specific about this. It's the best price ever though, and you've got 1 year to grow that hair. 1 year to grow that hair. But at this point, Pat, you said about 800, I believe. I know we have hundreds of people calling. Certainly the call is free. It does not obligate you to buy if you've got a particular question that Barry and I have not covered yet. Just remember, 1 full year to grow your hair. That customized case, all the adapters to charge it, the $69 activator. Incidentally, we do have a few auto ship opportunities, in which case, as you move forward, you will get that activator. I love that activator. I've always sold it separately. So basically, it's a half off sale or flash sale on that activator. As you move forward, today you're getting it for no additional cost and hundreds of dollars off on the Capillus technology. But as you move forward, you'll actually get a flash sale or your very own half-off sale on that activator. So join us, try it. I know it's a lot to digest and I know it's a lot to consider, and certainly we're all mindful of our budgets, but once more, speaking from my own personal experience, when we say when your hair is your crowning glory and when we can empower you and bring the doctor's office to you, the FDA cleared technology. If this has been a concern, if your life, if your self-esteem has been transformed to the negative just because of what you're seeing in the mirror, I do hope you try it. And it's nice to know you've got 1 year to grow that hair. So Barry, we've got a lot of ground to cover. We've got Dr. Danes, we've got Adam, we've got, so many testimonials. Do you want to talk about who this is for, or what would you like to cover next?
You know what, since you talked about minoxidil, why don't we explain what the real options are? Cool?
Cool.
Cool. Okay. All right. But seriously, so Shannon, your experience, here's the, first of all, your hair looks awesome. I don't know if you're still there. Like, your sides are thicker, it's shinier.
Yep.
Your bangs, remember you were concerned about your bangs and we talked about that? You look good. You're looking good. I'm just saying. I know, right? You're so fun. It's so fun to have fun with you. Okay. And by the way, I would do that when you came into my office. I said this consultation, I wasn't always like this. I was like, no, let's talk. Let's keep it real. That's really important to me. So let's just pretend I'm talking to Shannon here, which obviously I am. And she's saying, I've tried minoxidil. I've been to the doctor's office. I talked about shots. I just don't even know what's out there. So let me make this very clear of what's out there, because it's really important that you understand. When I say medical technology has advanced to the point, it's not only this. I'm being straight up, because as I've said a million times, and I mean it with all my heart, I'm not trying to sell you this. My charge gets out of educating you on making a wise decision for yourself. So just to be clear, there are only 3 things that the medical community recognizes that a female can do. There are 4 for a male. When I say recognize, I'm talking about things that your dermatologist, your hair loss specialist, even your family practice doctor would say, these are things the medical community recognizes, in other words, because of clinical trials that have been done, that we know will help stop hair loss and help cause hair regrowth. Let's explore which is the best for you, because that's what we want to do. All right, so the first one, Shannon talked about it, minoxidil. Let me help you understand minoxidil. It's been around the longest time. It is a topical. It was originally a high blood pressure medication. They found it had the pleasant side effect, helping to stop hair loss, helping to cause hair regrowth. So they repackaged it, rebranded it, put it in a topical form, reduced the dosage, and called it Rogaine. That was its prescription name. Now it's in its generic form called Minoxidil, okay? Now here, this is what I want you to understand about Minoxidil. And since Shannon brought it up, this is what I would say. I would say, Shannon, did you put it on and leave it on twice a day? You just heard her say, no, I did it for about a week. It got on my pillow, it mixed up with my hair product. So I would say, Shannon, don't write off the other 3 because you didn't comply with Minoxidil, and it works completely differently anyway. So if you're one of those people out there who said, wait, I tried Minoxidil, that won't work for you, these others won't, not true on many different levels, compliance levels, and they work differently, okay? So Minoxidil. The second one I'll just throw in there real quickly for men or women is Photobiomodulation. We're talking about that. I will continue to explain it. The third one for men or women is something called PRP, which stands for platelet-rich plasma, which I know from talking to Shannon, she explored as well, and which she will tell you in about 3 months is the cost of this cap, where you go to the doctor's office for the rest of your life and get shots in your head. It's painful, all right? So men or women, Minoxidil, Photobiomodulation, PRP. There's one more for men only called finasteride. Originally, a prescription for an enlarged prostate in a male. They found it had the side effect of helping to stop hair loss, so they repackaged it, rebranded it, called it Propecia. But we do have to say that there can be side effects, sexual side effects of a low sperm count and of lack of libido. So please track with me here. Ladies, you have 3 options. Boom. By the way, as Shannon will tell you as well, I keep quoting her because we've talked so much about this, and that's why I'm so excited her hair looks so good. When you see those infomercials on television where it's really easy to spot because everything's liquid and they say FDA approved, you know they're talking about Minoxidil. They're not going to say that because they know you may have tried it, but don't think, no, Barry, you're leaving something out there because I keep seeing infomercials about this, and this. That's all Minoxidil just repackaged and called something else. There truly are. With all my heart, I want you to understand that. 3 things for women, 4 for men. That is all there are. Okay, so what can you expect if we're talking about androgenic alopecia? Now we can finally go to the chart, Shannon. You're like, geez, Barry, come on. Okay, so this is what androgenic alopecia looks like. Okay, so when you came into my office, we were sitting at this table having a consultation. This is the Ludwig Savin scale. We didn't make this up. This is what every doctor's office uses. See the part getting wider, wider, wider. That is classic androgenic alopecia. Andro human, genic you inherited, alopecia the medical term for hair loss. If you're in that gray area, you need to know the FDA has cleared this for you. If you're in that white area, I also want you to know, don't write this off. Help to stop the loss and grow what you can. Okay, that's just my advice to you. The next one is the Norwood Scale for men. Again, these aren't secrets. You've seen it in your family. You see it going on yourself. You're losing in the vertex. You're receding in the front. This is FDA cleared for you. 95%, even some studies say higher, of all the hair loss going out there in the world. To half of the people in the world, Shannon, so this isn't like a secret thing of a few people. Half of the people watching us right now are suffering from hair loss, are part of these androgenic alopecia scales. Here's the big drop the mic moment. See this cap in my hand? See this cap in front of Shannon right now? This is an FDA cleared. We're hearing more and more about that. Shannon, as you know, I used to spend a lot of time educating on this even a year ago, but now since COVID and looking for the vaccine, we see what a huge deal it is to get an FDA clearance. We're hearing that through human clinical trials, you have to prove efficacy or effectiveness. Through human clinical trials, you have to prove safety. So aside from Isabel and me and Shannon and the people that you're about to meet in the minutes ahead, know this thing that I'm holding in my hand is FDA cleared, meaning the FDA says this technology is number 1 effective, this technology is number 2 safe. Shannon, that is a huge deal. And you only buy it once, by the way. The other ones you have to buy over and over again, as you well know, or go to the doctor's office over and over again, as you said. This is something you only do once.
It is indeed. Here's the deal, though. With only a couple hundred available, certainly I realize it's hundreds of dollars off, even what we sell it for here at HSN. We're about halfway through this presentation. Again, welcome into HSN. I'm Shannon, of course. I'm with my good friend Barry. We're doing a little virtual consultation. We're doing a little coffee talk, just like you do with your friends and your girlfriends and everything else. I mean, this is the world's largest Zoom hair party, I guess.
Yeah.
But what you really need to understand is this is serious stuff. This is the same technology that Barry would consult at in doctors' offices. It is FDA cleared. They are lasers. It's not just pretty lights. Certainly, if you have struggled with hair loss, as I have, and just, you know, the thing is, they say everything catches up with you. I mean, whether it's genetics or medication or time or stress, I mean, whatever it might be, you need to understand there is hope. And we are doing it in a way actually more affordable than we've ever offered. So Capillus, again, USA, assembled, they are an American company. So part of what has happened in the last year, I mean, you know what's been going on, we have not been able to meet the demand of this. Full disclosure, we were supposed to have 2 other Today's Specials in the last couple of months on this. We couldn't meet the demand. So what we are doing for today, and Pat, am I correct in saying the 800 only that are available? For the 800 that we have available with no back order and no wait list, we are not doing a 30-day return policy because we're going literally, I guess pun intended, to the root of the problem. We are going to the follicle. We're going to the root. We're going to help you grow, regrow, stop the hair loss, and grow hair. We're not doing a 6-month return policy as we have in the past. We're giving you 1 full year. You spend $275.80 on your credit card plus tax. The shipping is free. You get that custom molded case, all the adapters to charge it. You get the $61 Activator, which I've always recommended and you've always had to buy separately. We're including that for no additional purchase. The cap alone is $1,900 at hsn.com right now. And then that Activator is it's basically another $61. And you know what? It's funny because there's even a product out there called Hope in a Jar. This is Hope in a Hat for 6 minutes. You want to talk about compliance? If building my biceps were so easy, if getting rid of my middle-aged bulge was so easy, I mean, we would all do it. You put on a cap, you stop the hair loss, you start to regrow that hair. And we're doing it on a first come, first serve only basis. You know, I often say when Barry's here, things in life are guided. And I realize we're all being very budget conscious, but remember, this is something that you own for a lifetime. It's not, because trust me, I've tried the Minoxidil. I did consult with my doctor, you know, and I just thought, man, that's a big commitment financially, and then am I gonna keep driving back to the doctor's office? You know, quite honestly, then you're dealing with a whole nother third party and discomfort and expense and the whole 9 yards. You put on a hat. You put on a hat, 6 minutes. You put on a cap. And I know that it almost sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? But you know what? I know I keep referencing Adam. I know I've got my own personal testimonial, and Adam will have the final presentation coming up at 10:30 tonight. I know the quantities will be very, very limited, as they are now. In fact, I think we're below 800 remaining. Of course, that does not take into consideration the hundreds of people who are joining us. Remember, the call does not obligate you to buy. You've got 1 full year to stop that hair loss, to regrow that hair. Rather than me put words in his mouth, I would love for you to see and hear what our darling friend Adam has to say.
So my dad passed down a lot of wonderful things to me in the course of his lifetime, but one of the things that I'm not so fond of is the thinning hair. And it's something that I kind of noticed over recent years. Anyway, a few months back, I was at HSN and I saw this new product called Capillus. And I thought, well, you know, what have I got to lose? I might as well give it a try. So I've tried it, I've used it. Even my wife has said that my hair's starting to look thicker and fuller. And most important of all, the word that she used was healthier. So yeah, I'm a big believer already.
Is indeed. In fact, I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but even Amy and Adam work together a lot, and I've even heard Amy on the air in the beauty report saying, I wondered, we were just all so shocked. We thought, Adam, what are you doing? Well, anyway, if you are channel surfing, I'm joined with Barry, who Barry is not only a national expert, he does these consultations in doctors' offices and trains a lot of people. Barry, we were talking about how we were making this a virtual consultation, and Connie in New Jersey is taking us up on her offer. So she's going to join
Great.
the biggest hair party, the biggest, Zoom hair party. So Connie in New Jersey, welcome. You're live with Barry and Shannon at HSN. So Connie, we hear you have a quick little question before you commit to Capillus. Connie, you're up. What would you like to ask Barry?
The question is, does this cap work for any reason for hair loss? Does it work for hormonal hair loss, or is it just designated for one type of hair loss?
Excellent question. Okay, so Connie, let me explain this to you. First, that term alopecia. Okay, alopecia, because this is an excellent question. This is one of the questions I get all the time. Alopecia is just a medical term for hair loss. There are all kinds of alopecia. Shannon referenced at the beginning. She said Barry will tell you what it's called. When you're pulling the ponytail too tight, or you're wearing cornrows too tightly, or your weaves are too tight, and you find instead of having thicker hair, you're getting thinner hair over the time. That's called traction alopecia. There's something called alopecia universalis, where there's overall loss. What this is FDA cleared for is something called androgenic alopecia, genetic hair loss, by far in the 90 percentiles, what most people have, where you typically see the hair loss up here. So let me answer it this way. This is FDA cleared for androgenic alopecia. However, we have a network of doctors all over the world. I've sat with thousands of people. I have offered this to men and women for all types of alopecias, as many, many doctors do. So if you have a specific issue with a specific kind of very narrow type of medical hair loss, I would certainly ask you to check with your doctor first, or better yet, if you really want my opinion, because the price goes away at midnight, and I truly am not trying to sell you anything. If you sat in my office, I would say the same thing. Connie, let's just get this home while you can save $700, and let's make an appointment with your personal physician so that you can feel comfortable about your purchase. So the quick answer is, it covers many different types of hair loss. As you mentioned, hormones. As ladies get older, it is the estrogen that keeps the skin elastic, right, healthy. It is the estrogen that keeps the follicles healthy, and as the estrogen levels drop, so the follicle becomes weaker. Will this specific 650 nanometer class 3R laser, I'm getting very specific with you, a photobiomodulation, actually get to those follicles that are getting unhealthy and make them stronger? Absolutely. We know that for a fact through human clinical trials, thousands of human clinical trials, hundreds of clinical trials, thousands of medical papers written on this. So I would say absolutely get it home. Any reservations you have, talk to your doctor, but I think you'll see amazing results, and I hope that helps.
Connie, great.
Got it, Connie?
Great call. Okay. Great question. I hope that addresses or kind of fills in some of the blanks for you. Connie, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really do appreciate it. And actually, from a woman's perspective, I'm hoping that we can show Dr. Danes in a few moments as well. Yeah. And I think the big thing for me, Barry, is and Connie, you're probably like me, especially as a woman. You look in the mirror and you're just not really quite sure what's going on. It's like, okay, is it the stress that I've been under? Is it because, okay, I saw my mom's part start to thin? Is it because I pulled my hair back for years and that high ponytail? Is it because, the only eggs I'm getting are from the Easter Bunny? I mean, what's going on? Usually we check more than one box, especially as women, because we're multitaskers. All I can tell you is, and truthfully, at least, again, speaking for myself, there probably was more than one factor at play in terms of the hair loss that I was experiencing, especially along the crown area and along the bang. And certainly I have seen a marked improvement. You know what? I'm wearing a cap. And trust me, all things in life should be so easy. This is the compliance that you will do, and I think that's why people really do see results. Just remember, though, if you are like Connie and like Barry indicated, unlike our regular presentations here at HSN, it is not a 30-day return policy, because we quite literally are going to the root of the problem. It's not a 6-month return policy, as we have offered in the past. It is 1 full year to stop that hair loss and to regrow hair with FDA cleared technology. It is the lowest price that we've ever offered. In fact, we're getting close to $1,000 off because remember, about $700 off. The cap alone is $2,000 at hsn.com. The Activator is another $61. You get the customized case, and then of course you get all the adapters. You get it on FlexPay, $275 and change plus tax. The shipping is free, but you do have a 1-year return policy. So certainly I realize even with $700 off, it is still a considered purchase. But Barry is correct. We will be raising this price at midnight. I do not anticipate that there will be any in stock just because we had to cancel 2 today's specials with Capillus. Even though they're an American company, we are all aware of manufacturing challenges in this last year, and they seem to continue at least for the first part of 2021. So when these are gone, remember, they are gone at this price. We have a little over 700 remaining, so about 760, give or take. Remember, that does not take into consideration the method and manner in which people are selecting this. You have 1 year to return it. 1 year to stop that hair loss, to regrow hair. So if that helps you consider this, I would love to recommend it to you. Remember, it can't help you unless you try it. You put on a cap, new meaning to hat hair for 6 minutes, stop the hair loss, regrow hair. So Dr. Danes is someone, we're talking about doctor's offices and making a house call and bringing the same FDA cleared technology home to you. You might recognize Dr. Danes, and this is one of my personal favorite testimonials, and I'd love for you to see Isabel again as well. But you know what? Dr. Danes is going to take it away and tell you more.
My name is Dr. Adrian Danes. I'm a medical doctor. I also have a PhD. 2 years ago, I began to see a profound change in the quality of my hair. I have started to use Capillus, and I find it effective. It is very important for me that Capillus is FDA cleared. You put it on your head, you turn it on, one button, and you're done.
Doesn't she look cute in that cap?
She does.
She does. By the way, speaking of the cap, look at, like, right on cue, the cap was talking to me. So everything is automatic. By the way, we have hundreds of you joining us. We now have the last 700. That is not to be alarmist. I just want everybody to realize you have 1 year return policy, first time ever. Barry, I defer back to you. I know we want to see Isabel again, and we're continuing with this virtual consultation. It was nice that Connie from New Jersey called in, and I encourage you, don't let Connie be the only one. Because, you know, the thing is, Barry, hair loss is an individual thing, and it's a very intimate thing, and it's a very personal thing. And it is interesting when we talk about, you know, people who are men and women of different ages, you know, different scalp and skin tones and genetics and everything else. And that's one of the reasons I think it's hard to get people to comply, you know, whether it's a diet or a workout regimen. It really doesn't get any easier than this. And we should also talk about how this is so legally specific. So yes, there are other things that you can do, but even the color of the light, the position of the light,
Are you asking me a science question?
Lasers, the position of the lasers. So we have to understand the science is at play, right?
I love science questions. You know me, that's what gets me excited. Okay, so let me explain the science to you, okay? Because this is huge and important. Notice, first of all, I push one button, the blue lights turn on, and the cap begins to come on, just like you're seeing here. Do you see this red color? That is no mistake. Let me explain to you these lasers. Actually, maybe we can, Shannon, if you can pick up a cap and get a super close-up of these lasers, because you and I have talked about this. These are not LEDs. It's important that you understand. LEDs are Christmas tree lights. These are medical-grade lasers, class 3R lasers, okay? Science lesson number 1. Science lesson number 2 is this color. This is known as 650 nanometers of light. To make it very clear, I'm going to turn this off because this is beeping, because it beeps if it's not on your head. We'll show our model in a second for you as well. But 650 nanometers is a very specific color spectrum of light. See what Shannon's, that red. That is not like, oh, let's just make it red. The reason that's red is biomedically, our body allows that color. See those lasers? That's called coherent light. Guys, I could go on and on about this, but let me suffice it to say, that specific color with that specific grade laser will safely pass through your hair, through your scalp, down to your follicle. Now we can run the animation. It's going to all connect for you. It's going to pass through. So what's happening below your skin? See that follicle dying? It's getting smaller. That's called miniaturization. Scientifically, that exact color light is stimulating, let's go back to junior high class, the mitochondria in the cells. Remember, mitochondria are the energy levels in the cell. These cells are dying. This specific light that our body's allowed to pass through it in the form of a class 3R laser is making those cells say, wait, I don't have to die. My energy cell, my energy center has what it needs to become active again, literally like this. It starts demanding more blood flow full of nutrients, and it literally drinks up the light and it drinks up the nutrients in the blood, and the follicle becomes bigger again, so the hair becomes bigger again. Let's look at before and afters. Look at Daniel so you can see it now, what's happening on top of the scalp. That's what's happening under the scalp. On top of the scalp in the before, we are seeing scalp. But where you're seeing scalp, I scope it. It's called a dermoscope when they come into my office. I'm seeing tons of tiny baby fine hair that I go, aha. Androgenic alopecia, miniaturization. I have a medical treatment that can treat that and reverse those dying follicles, hence reverse that baby fine hair. So where you can see a white part, where you can see white scalp, it grows back. The reason that I'm showing Lester, this guy's name's Lester, see how it says 3 months? There's a very specific reason I'm showing that, Shannon, and you've addressed it. It's because this takes time. This is not one of those shaker things you put on your head that goes away at the end of the day when you get in the shower. This is not even a wig. Look, guys, those cosmetic things are all great, but we know during COVID and post-COVID, people are tossing out the temporaries, and they're saying, if I'm going to spend my hard-earned money, which gets harder and harder every day, even half a car payment, if I know that I'm buying a real medical device, I'm going to do that to finally get a permanent solution. That was Isabel's challenge. She worked very hard, day to day in her office, spent so much money on products, saw no results, saw the Capillus cap, and said, I'm going to try it, because when I hear the science, I believe medical technology has advanced to the point where something can happen. Did something happen? Hear it for yourself from Isabel.
I took a picture on the very first day. I parted my hair down the middle, took my camera, my phone, and took some photos. Continued using the product, and a coworker of mine kept wanting to see what my results were. So a few months later, she said, you know, I think things are working. I had shared with her, and she said, I think things are working. Take a picture, take a picture, take another picture. And finally, I did it, and it happened to be at the 6-month mark, almost to the day. And when I compared the pictures, it makes me emotional, because I really didn't expect to see those results. And it's really fascinating when you can do research about a product and what you read is true, and that you see the results, and that it can be very life-changing, especially for women.
And one of the reasons it's so life-changing is you have the opportunity to get truly a professional grade, not 8 lasers, not 40, not 80, but 202 lasers that you simply put this cap on your head once a day for 6 minutes a day. You push one button, 6 minutes later, it turns itself off. Now, also, Shannon, let me also just make sure I mention this. This is a regular size cap. I have a giant head. Okay, at many different levels. I'm not going to say as you would say, but we, let's face it. But let's just say physiologically, I have a giant head. This is a regular size cap. But notice the coverage, okay? So I am covered everywhere where I could suffer from hair loss. But if you're home and you're suffering from hair loss down here, no problem. All you do is you wear this straight on one day, tilt it back an inch the next. Straight on one day, tilt it back an inch the next. You don't like our colors of blue and gray? Am I offended? Blue and gray. Blue and black? Absolutely not. You want to put it in this puppy? You want to put it in this puppy? Look, all you do is you take it out. I'm looking at my hair because my big igloo doesn't want it to be messed up. This is the important thing. You can pop it in this and sit on the beach and do your treatment 6 minutes a day or while you're walking the dog. Seriously, Shannon, one of the reasons we made it so easy is exactly what you said. Compliance means everything. The best heart pill in the world is no good if you don't take that pill every day. We know. We even did our own clinical trials. You mentioned it used to be a half hour a day. We, Capillus, went to the FDA, filed with the FDA, that's the actual terms, and said, we can make this 6 minutes once a day to get the exact same results. We got the clearance from the FDA to do it. We're the only ones who have that. We're the only ones who have the patented safety features. I can go on and on. We are manufactured here in the USA, assembled in the USA. Our customer service department is here in the USA. We're not going to give you this and say, hi, bye, have a good time, see you, whatever. We are here to walk you through it. I'm right here at our Capillus headquarters in our Capillus studios, right here in Miami, Florida. We are not going anywhere. You can call anytime. You have a question? No sweat. 2-year warranty comes with this. No sweat. In 11 months and 3 weeks, let's say, you gave it a shot and nothing's happening, which won't happen, by the way. You want to send it back? You send it back, you get a full refund. So Shannon, I'll leave you with this, because I actually had this conversation with people when they came into my office. They would say, geez, $2,000 is what it would be if you actually went to a doctor's office. And I would say, well, they would actually say, can you help me understand this, walk me through it? And I would say, okay, look, so we're talking about half of a car payment. What is it worth for you to have the confidence in your head on your hair to, let's say, apply for a better job, to go up for the promotion, to go out there? What will it cost if you try one of the other modalities that you have to buy over and over and over again? If you're finally to the point, because you're sitting here right now, this consultation, where you want to take the leap to do one of those medical things, sure, you can get hair transplants for $10,000 to $20,000. They're great, they work, they're awesome. You don't have $20,000, but can you find a way to do $250 a month for 5 months, and then it's done, you own it for the rest of your life? Can you find a way to do that and then deal with those payments to actually risk-free for a full year, see if this is finally going to answer your number one concern in life, because it usually is that. And Shannon, I think for a lot of people, when they're real honest with themselves, they're willing to take that plunge because it is such a giant issue in their lives. It changes everything in so many ways.
It does indeed. And a couple of things that you said, Barry, that I just want to piggyback on. I mean, even if you do hair transplant or plugs, I mean, actually Martino, who I don't think we have time to show Martino's testimonial, but he did have that procedure done, and then his doctor said, you need to get a cap, you need to maintain it. Here's the other thing about that, and it's interesting that you mentioned a car, because I was actually going to do the same thing, but in a different way. So Barry was talking about a car payment, but let me put it to you this way. If you purchased a motor vehicle, if you purchased a car, a truck, an SUV, you don't get a 1-year return policy. And that's what, $30,000, $40,000. Can you imagine going to your car dealership and it's like, yeah, we've got interest-free payments, whatever it might be. But, and Pat, do you know what it is? The lemon law is only like 48 hours or something like that. I don't even know what it is with a car. It's been a while since I purchased a car, but you get 1 year. So you drive this off the lot, you put on a cap, you stop the hair loss, you regrow hair, you got a year. I don't know of a washer and dryer. I don't know of a car, a truck, a boat, an SUV, and a van. I mean, I look at it this way, and certainly it is a considered purchase, but what do you have to lose? You've got 1 year. 1 year, lowest price ever, more stuff than ever, FDA-cleared technology, clinical trials, the same lasers that are used in doctors' offices. You've got 1 year to stop the hair loss, to regrow hair, and you put on a cap. We're not asking you to only eat 500 calories a day. I'm not saying the name of my girlfriend. We're not asking you drive to the gym and sanitize the world and wear a mask and gloves and everything else. We're making a house call. We're bringing the FDA-cleared technology, the same technology used in doctors' offices, to you. But it is only for this show and one more chance with our darling Adam, who you saw earlier at 10:30 tonight. And remember, and Pat, I think you said only 700 or a little more than 700 remain. The only, and I certainly, once more, that is not to be alarmist or rushy, because I realize even though it's almost $1,000 off, and yes, we're going to raise the price if there are any remaining, it's still a considered purchase. but you have 1 year. And I know I keep going back to that, but I'll just be honest with you. I do shop a lot here at HSN, which many of you know if you've watched me. But part of the reason I'm able to do that is I always think, well, you know what? I get that 30-day return policy. If I don't like it, I'll put the label on the box and I'll send it back and nobody's going to harass me. So I know how confident that makes me think. It's like, oh, well, if it's something I don't like, I can always send it back. You got a year. You got a year. You got a year. So if your budget will allow, it's $275 and change. It's free shipping. It's a money back. Stop that hair loss, regrow that hair by putting it on a cap for 6 minutes a day for 1 full year. And that is for the only 700 of you who are able to take advantage of it right now. So Adam will have that final airing at 10:30 tonight. I certainly want to encourage you to do this. I know we've been talking about, well, my own testimonial and Adam's testimonial, and I know Lynn was talking about her testimonial, and Dimitri, James, who we love here at HSN. But remember how I was also referencing medical procedures, you know, hair transplants, hair plugs. What's interesting about those, cosmetic procedures aside, like say you get a facelift, your face eventually is going to start to sag again. Say you get hair transplants, you got to help maintain those hairs. So rather than me put words in his mouth, someone who represents great hair products here at HSN, someone who is the poster, the epitome of good looking hair, check out what Martino says.
My name is Martino Cardi, celebrity stylist. When I turned 40 years old, I noticed my hairline was really starting to thin and I was starting to panic. So I found a hair restoration surgeon, world-renowned guy, right here in Florida. So I went to him and I had the transplant. I spent a lot of money and he told me, you really should protect your investment. And by doing that, I want you to get this Capillus laser cap. And what it's gonna do, it's gonna stop the hair from falling out that you already had with the surgery. Plus, it's gonna help other hair come in thicker and more fuller, like when you were younger. Being a celebrity stylist, I have access to the best of the best. So if I choose Capillus, you should too. FDA approved, clinical results, you're gonna love your hair.
You know, every time I look at Martino, I mean, you want to talk about a great looking head of hair. I mean, you could be our next testimonial. I mean, seriously, and I know results are going to vary. I mean, for me, my bangs were getting so thin, my stylist had to keep cutting them back and back and back. My part was getting wider. I have seen my own hair transform, because listen, I don't care what's went on last year or what might go on in 2021. I can wear a cap. No matter what's going on in my day or what chaos has unfolded, I can wear a cap. I can wear a hat. And remember, especially for only 6 minutes a day. Hey, I'd love to show you that quantity left one more time. And that is not to be alarmist. It's just to kind of put the things in the bigger picture. We now have fewer than 700, and just realize, I know it's a considered purchase. I know it's a great value because it's the same technology, the same lasers that are used in doctors' offices, but it has a 1-year return policy, a 1-year return policy. So just remember, and it's 5 flex pays. So think about it. You could have this paid off on flex pay, interest-free payments, but you could still return it after you've already finished your last flex pay. Now, how does that make sense? I mean, seriously, so it's 5 flex pays, but 1 year from now, because this our delivery date is about Valentine's Day. So make this a love letter to yourself. Make this a love letter to the guy in your life. And Barry, one thing that we haven't talked a lot about that we should, because I know it's something that Suzanne Runyon talks about, this is a love letter to the whole family, because you own the technology. The whole family can use this. So it's not like buying the golf clubs or this or that one person in the family is only gonna use it. If this could be his and hers with the same cap, couldn't it?
That's absolutely right. And if you remember when I talked about the 4 things that are out there, minoxidil, finasteride, PRP, and this, it is the only one that you can share with a loved one, or even just kind of go in half season, get it home and share it that way. Everything else you buy over and over again and only you can use it. This you can share. And remember, we're not talking about sharing a comb with 8 lasers or something with 40 lasers. We're talking about the professional 202 grade laser one. And Shannon, I'm going to talk about your lasers because I love the way you say that. But here, this is why I know why you say this, because we've talked about that before. Because once you called them bulbs, like, am I going to have to replace bulbs? You are not going to have to replace bulbs because these aren't bulbs. Not only are these lasers, these are class 3R medical grade lasers that are used in many medical applications. But here's where I want to caution you, okay? And this is where I have to walk softly but carry a big stick, because nothing will make me angrier than having people get taken advantage of in the hair loss world. If you want to know the truth, since the year 500, when the term snake oil came out, much of it was because of baldness and people being taken care of. It is going on to this day in gigantic form. I want to tell you that if you're getting things on your Facebook feed about things that look exactly like this, same colors but different names, it is not this. They are copycats that come from a mystery country that have no lifespan to them, number one. Number two, there are things out there where you will go online where I would say you're buying a picture, you're not getting this whole explanation, you're not getting someone saying this is the one doctors use. No question, around the world give to their doctors. They're going to say, oh, this is FDA cleared lasers. Well, guess what? There are 8 FDA cleared lasers in there, and everything else is an LED. I get amazed that in 2021, people still take advantage of people that way. It's tragic and it's sad. And you're certainly not going to have any, if you buy something from a mystery country, there's nowhere to return it to. There's certainly no one to call because we're right here in the USA. Guys, you can even run the footage if you want of how we're assembled right here in the USA. You can see right down the street from where I'm sitting, literally, you can see skilled technicians. You could walk in there right now. See these skilled technicians, look at that, one laser, look at those hands. You think that guy has done this for a while? Putting in one laser at a time, soldering one laser at a time, cutting off the wires one laser at a time, putting in the hypoallergenic layer one cap at a time. For those of you who work in the medical industry, first of all, we appreciate you tons for all you've done for us in the last year. You're gonna know when I say we are ISO 13485 certified, that is a gigantic quality control certification that we have that examines everything from manufacturing to shipping to how we actually package it to ship it to you. That's the kind of quality we're talking about. Look, you may have bought something somewhere else and you're going, wait, Shannon, I don't know, can you show the cord, Shannon, while I'm talking?
I can't.
You're
Hey,
saying,
Barry, though, just you know, we only have 60 seconds remaining. So.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah. Huge. Yeah. See how thick that cord is? See, we're not talking about like a telephone USB thing. This is a really, really high quality thing that you're going to be thrilled with having. And I'm sorry I talk so much, Shannon. I get too excited.
We're bringing the consultant and the technology home to you. I know time always just goes by so quickly when you're here, and we so appreciate your expertise and the information.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
We'll look forward to seeing you back with Adam at 10:30 tonight, right, Barry?
Yeah, somewhere between 10 and 11. I'll be here wherever it happens.
Okay, sounds good. Awesome job as always. Continue to be safe out there. Hey, quick update, fewer than 700, I think like 650, give or take. Remember, 1 year return policy. Stop that hair loss, regrow that hair. Best Valentine's Day gift that you can give to yourself or your honey, and you know what? His and hers. You can both wear the cap, just 6 minutes a day. All right, we got the king of coins. He is here for